Hey guys, welcome to Paleo Greenbird. Greenbird here. I hope everybody is doing fantastic out there. I know we're in some silly times right now, and sometimes it might be hard to find a little bit of peace, but I hope everybody is doing that. I have an obsidian slab here. I think this is rainbow. It might just be black. We won't know until we get into it. But I think this is rainbow obsidian. It's hard to tell looking at it through the light because, as many of you might know, sometimes when you buy the rainbow obsidian online, you don't always get a lot of rainbow in there. You know, unless you pay the big bucks for the guaranteed good stuff, but I don't. I pay a good price and I get, you know, I get some decent stuff, and then I get some stuff that needs, you know, a little bit of attention and maybe not quite as rainbowy as the other stuff. So let's see what we got here. So this is a pretty good sized piece, and as you can see from the shape, it looks like it might want to be a knife. Won't really know until we start working it. I don't like to assume that in the beginning unless I'm, you know, I have a specific intention of making a knife or a point. I mean, I could literally turn this into a knife or a point just by taking off material, but I'm going to let it tell me what it wants to be. It's been a while since I've skinned a slab. Saw a really cool video by Dave Timbears, and that kind of inspired me to skin some slabs. If you haven't checked out Dave Timbears' channel, do it. Some really cool stuff. And who knows, maybe I'll try a little bit of indirect today when I get done with this. But just kind of wanted to show how quickly you can pound out a nice good point or blade from a slab. Something's going on with my glasses, they keep fogging up. Okay. So I'm going to take the... I like to work from the tip first, but that's just preference. I think I like that because that way if I bust the tip off, I can work the rest of it. I did sharpen my pressure flaker. And I'm just going to press down and out, just like I'm scooping ice cream. I'm scooping really frozen ice cream. Hand against my leg so I get the support of my leg. I can even put, you know, the working hand against my leg if I want to, if I need to. There's one flake. Give myself some space in between flakes. Down out. Yep, you can see these flakes, they're running pretty much all the way across. So I'm going to take that delta right here, and I'm going to line that up on the edge of this pad. That's how I space my flakes. I don't know if that's the best way or not, you tell me. But that's what I do. The edge of that delta right up there. Seems like you're going to take a flake too far away, but it just, it doesn't work that way. It still works. Each time I just keep moving that delta up to the top, still flaking in the middle. Some of these flakes might even be arguably a little bit too far across the center line. Some people say that you don't want it too far across the center line because it affects your flake pattern. I personally, probably just because I'm not that great, I just like them to travel as far as I can. If I have to meet them from the other side and it doesn't match up perfectly, in my opinion, that's the least of my problems. And that one's a little bit short, but we'll get it from the other side. Okay, so we've taken our first pass. We've got everything skinned pretty good. Still real thick. And I don't know, in my opinion, I think this is when you really want to think about how thin you want the point. Do you want it more convex, or do you want it super, super, super thin? And it just depends on what you want to use it for. I mean, the super, super thin points are, you know, bragging rights really in the community. The more convex round points do tend, in my opinion, seem to be a little bit more sturdy. You know, they can hit a rib bone, they can maybe even hit dirt once, probably not with obsidian, that would break, but you know, I'm not so concerned about super, super thin, but maybe that's because I just don't get them super, super thin, I don't know. So I'm going to take another pass. So again, this is what we have. We've got it skinned, still real thick on all the edges. We're going to take another pass, which obviously requires another grind. Even hit those deltas, because those deltas are platforms. So I'll take this. I haven't resharpened my pressure flanker. I don't think I need to at this point. Now I'm napping in my basement, obviously. I know in a lot of my videos I've said don't nap inside. It's not a good idea. But working slabs is a little less, in my opinion, maybe I'm just justifying it, but in my opinion a little bit less hazardous. I thought I broke it, but I didn't. Then, you know, than working big pieces and you're getting lots of dust and stuff like that. We're just popping off flakes. The most dangerous part of this being indoors is when you're grinding. Just don't keep your face down there and breathing all that dust, especially with obsidian. Obsidian gets in the air. Sometimes, you know, it's hard to notice it. There's been times when I've worked obsidian in the basement, and I always go to bed with a cough. But I've kind of learned to work around it. I don't do spalls or anything inside anymore. Alright, so try to pay attention here. And for those high spots, we're going to flip it over to the other side. Hear the stone falling and hitting. Let's be a little more gentle towards the tip. This is just really good. Really, really fun way to make a point. All you need is a pressure flaker. You don't need to be experienced with percussion or anything like that. There are still a lot of things that can go wrong, but it's just a different animal. One thing I will say, I don't like to talk in, you know, finite terms when it comes to flint knapping, but the one finite term that I will say is don't ever let the middle of your piece get thinner than the outsides, because that's just disaster. And I don't think I have to explain why. Kind of common sense. Ow, damn it. Just cut myself. And broke the tip off. But that's okay. That happens. And I'm not even going to really address that right now. We'll get that later. Just keep thinning it. The only thing about bleeding is it makes everything sticky. Okay. Alright, so I think what I'm going to do, just for the sake of this video, is I'm just going to put a Band-Aid on here and I'm going to wash this off just to keep it from getting sticky, because it does, you know, make a difference. Normally I wouldn't care, I would just keep going, but it'll slow things down. So for the sake of the video, let's just go ahead and get that tidied up, and I'll be right back. Alright, we're back. So got a Band-Aid on there, and I know it looked bad, but trust me when I tell you it was really, really basically just a tiny cut, not much more than a pinprick. It's just that obsidian is so sharp that it just cuts so deep. So not a big deal, nothing to be concerned about. And that happens a lot. Sometimes you just break that tip off. Your point becomes shorter than it was, which in this case I think is contributing to the shape of a knife. So, we'll see. So at this point, I'm just going to take off the high spots. There's probably a better way to do it, but that's what I do. Take off the spots that are higher than the rest. Try to level everything off, even it out. Get out, down, and out is the motion that I'm taking. Looking for the thickest spots I can. I know a lot of people just, they have a particular pattern, they zigzag back and forth. I guess I'm just not at that level, because I need to look for high spots and low spots and address those individually. I would say whatever works for you. A lot of people out there telling you how to do things, but if at the end of the day you get a point, I'd say you're doing it right. I mean, there are some fundamental rules you want to follow, of course, but alright, let's switch to the other side. slip off a little bit. So that tells me I should grind with the awesome grinding stone that Dave Tenbear sent me. Okay. So now I can zigzag right now. It's way thick. It'd be a huge, there'd be a lot of girth to that point, but I could if I wanted to. Just taking off flakes. Pushing with both legs. Otherwise you'll get wrist problems in a real hurry. Okay, let's correct that tip. The tip is still a little bit thicker than what I would like to see. Alright. So let's just take a second and let's grind. So I grind all the edges. You can see that tip is kind of square on the top where we broke it off. We're going to fix that. I think this has decided that it wants to be a knife. This is an amazing piece of sandstone that Dave Tenbear sent me. I have a bunch of sandstone, but this seems to grip better. Alright, let's take another pass, see what happens. And again, this is where you decide how thin you want it, or if convexity is more important to you than thinness, or both, really. I'm just taking flakes off to reduce this edge. Yeah, a lot of them are running nice and long. And a lot of that just comes with practice as to what you prefer or what your skill set allows you to do. There we go. Sometimes you have to back up a little bit, backtrack, and get what you missed, which is what I just did. Probably should have showed that. So I'm just trying to thin this out as best I can. Every time I see a platform, flipping sides, taking that platform. Alright, this side's thinner, this side's thicker. So let's work on this side. Looking for the high spots. I don't really care about making even strokes. I just look for the high spots, take those off. If there's a high spot, it comes off. If I have to zigzag, that's okay. I mean, not zigzag, you know, in the way that you zigzag the final edge, but you know what I mean. If I have to go back and forth, I'll do it. A lot of material falling. Okay. Well, that's pretty cool. Alright, so it's getting thinner. We are almost ready to zigzag. I mean, we could zigzag right now, depending upon how thin you want your point. But for the sake of having some fun, we're going to take another pass. Alright, now we're just going to take tiny flakes. Not big aggressive flakes because we just have a little itty bitty edge there to work with. So just taking little flakes and just getting us that much closer to our zigzag, because our next pass is going to be a zigzag. And yeah, it should be fine. Oh, maybe I need to sharpen this. Let's see. I guess not. Alright. Pretty close. I mean, we could keep drilling this down, but I think we're pretty close. We're pretty much ready to, once we finish this. we're ready to zigzag. Give this thing an edge. Just keep going back and forth, seeing where your low spots are, or high spots, depending upon which side you're taking them from. And that is where you want to work. You'll see the shape. You'll see where it needs work and where it doesn't. Pretty cool, huh? Pretty cool. With just bare minimum tools, you can make something super awesome. Alright. So this is where we're at right now. Okay, both sides are good. The edges are, yeah, they're a little thick, but whatever. I think we're just going to start zigzagging. We're going to turn this into something cool. I'm a little impatient. And I personally, I kind of like a little bit thicker points. Thicker blades. You can sharpen them more. I mean, I do like those super thin points. It's nice, like I said, it's nice for bragging rights, and they're just good. They're good, you know. Just quick, slow file across my pressure flaker. Nothing fast. You don't want to heat the copper up. If you heat the copper up, it turns it soft. Some people hammer it. I've hammered it too. I just found that as a lazy man, if I just file it like that, it works just dandy. Alright, let's see what we got here. I think we're still going to turn this into a blade. So. What I'm going to try and do is just try and zigzag flake this flat edge off of the back. We might need to come back and sharpen that up, touch it up, but just getting rid of that flat ground edge is going to give us somewhat of a blade. Pay attention to your angles. Sometimes you have to hit the same side twice. Just because you're zigzagging doesn't mean you always have to zig and zag. Sometimes you have to hit the same side twice. It's intuitive. There you go. Make sure you take your time, don't rush. Get a good platform. Yep, this one has the, well, yeah, this is a tough one. Go. Sometimes you just have to take little nibbles to get you that that next flake that you want. It's not as simple as just zigzagging. Oh man, is it fun though. This is the fun part. This is when you start to see a blade come to life. And this is what's less in and out, is it is just kind of plucking. Just trying to get that sawed edge off. What's left of it anyway. Or you can go deep if you want to go deep. That will give you a thinner blade. Not necessarily how I do it, but that's the cool thing about this, is there really is no perfectly correct way to do it. If you get a blade at the end of this, you've done it right. This is a long video, so I apologize. I'm trying to hurry as much as I can without breaking this. Which I just did. Right. That's right. We'll be fine. So you can see I broke the ear off of that. That's alright. Plenty of stone to work with. But that was a dumb rookie move. Could break it any time. You never know. Gotta be careful. We're going to finish this off. It's not going to be extremely sharp. We might have to come back and resharpen it, but we're just going to finish it off for the sake of the video. Alright, so just gonna, like I said, keep flipping it back and forth, zigzagging to get those edges off. It's a sawed edge, so every time we zigzag it, gives it a sharper edge. Even if we have to come back and fix it, it still gives it a sharper edge. Probably hear that hitting the tarp. This is just how I zigzag. I don't know. Tell me how you do. Probably doing it all wrong. Let me know. Just trying not to break it. That's my biggest concern. Just flipping it back and forth, getting that zigzag. And again, I'm no master, just sharing what I do. That's a tough one, huh? Try it from the back side. Work the other direction. Sometimes if I get stuck, I'll just work the other direction. So that stalled going in that direction, so I'll just flip it around and I'll work the other direction. Just like working a hinge or a step. You can't work into it. Sometimes you just, or you can't work, yeah, you can't keep working into it. Sometimes you have to hit it from the other side. It's the same thing sometimes when you get a stall. Alright, so now I have to address this weird shape. Let's do this. I got an idea. Just nibble it away. Not a big deal. Let's try and shape it to match the other side. That's all I'm doing. Sitting all over me. So you can see how that one side is different than the other. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm just going to trim that one side. We're going to call this a knife. I think that's the best idea. Sometimes the stone just tells you what it wants to be. I could fix this and make it a blade, but I mean a point, but I just don't have the ambition. Just going to let this be a blade. Kind of wanted to be a blade all the way along, now that I think of it. Again, just looking for those low spots and I'm taking them. Alright, I think we're pretty well close. This is going to be a super long video. I bet no one's going to actually watch the whole thing. But that's alright. Alright, so we got a good blade here. I think we're going to stop. I'm going to grind it. I know that seems counterintuitive because it's going to take away any sharpness that we have, but that sharpness will be something that we add at a later date. I mean, the edge, you can put an edge on anything really. But I want to get rid of all the loose stuff, thin stuff, stuff that doesn't really want to be there. So when we do put an edge on it, it's a nice, solid, reliable edge. God, I It's all over me. I really do. Alright, so this is what we're left with. Nice obsidian blade. Like I said, I believe this to be rainbow, but I don't think it's very high quality rainbow. Yeah, let me take the camera off here and see if I can get it in the light. So, you can see it has some rainbow. Can't really get a good picture, but it has some decent rainbow, but not a lot. Almost more banded, but it is actually a rainbow. Alright, hope you enjoyed this. Sorry if it was long and boring. Hope you all are doing awesome. Don't forget to tell somebody today that you love them. Be good to your neighbors, be good to your family, be good to your, I don't know, anybody that you meet, and talk to you later.